YouTube, I'm David Boucher, and welcome to day 47 of my 6-month life transformation chronicle. I'm back in the studio today. It's a much busier. Well, it's a busy day, just like it was yesterday. I don't know about much busier, because yesterday was pretty full. But I get to be home, which is nice. I hope that you're having a good end of the week. That you continue to stay productive, moving towards your goals, and that you've got some good things planned for the weekend. So a couple things. I guess first I want to announce that after talking about it for a long time, I do have a start date of my first client. So that'll be Tuesday. And that's obviously fantastic for me. I think what it means in terms of the videos though, is that because there's a commute, because I'll be tied up all day, and because I'll just be really mostly focused on this one thing, I don't know that there's a lot of value in doing the daily videos while I'm at the client. I could come back in the evening and tell you, well, I went to work for the client, worked out and played some guitar, but I don't know how valuable that is. So what I'll probably do is, while I'm working at the client site, transition to probably weekend updates on Saturday and Sunday. And obviously if something momentous happens, I'll make an exception. But I think there'll be a pause, and let's say I pause for a week on day 50, just making it up. I'll just pick up with a video called day 57 afterwards. So that's a logistic issue, but it's good news for me. It's great. So in terms of how the boot camp I was at yesterday went, it was interesting actually. So I was expecting the usual, PowerPoints and maybe write a few lines of code, maybe, and network. So PowerPoint networking. Well, imagine my surprise when I got in there and they had kits with computers and Arduino boards, and we were actually supposed to build a temperature sensor based off Arduino and then feed that data to the cloud on the Microsoft Azure platform. So they weren't joking when they said it was in depth. And all I have to say is that two things. First is that I'm glad I've done this before. I mean, I've played around and done some Arduino and Raspberry Pi projects, and so that helped me not feel so deer in the headlights. But on a bigger picture, I was in a room full of people who wanted to find out more about IoT, and I felt like I could comfortably explain what I was doing to them. And in fact, I did. I helped people out, answer some questions, and that's great. I mean, that sets me up really well for getting into this field, because I do have hands-on exposure with the equipment. I understand the ecosystem, and so it was nice. Now, unfortunately, there were some software issues with everyone's setup. So when you run these workshops, anything having to do with technology is never a one-shot deal. It's always some trial and error. So it was, unfortunately, we didn't reach where we wanted to end up at. However, I did meet one very good contact. It was a fellow Rice alumnus who graduated 8 years after I did, but still counts. And it very much felt like we were in an engineering lab together working through this problem as a team. So it was nice. I think I made a new friend. We talked programming, so it was good. So even though I didn't get to finish the project, I think I made one or two really good contacts, which is what it's all about, right? It's just meeting people. As far as today, I've got a meeting and then another call with some startups, very encouraging. I've got another startup meeting next week, so things are happening. It's always hard to know what should my close rate be, right? So my leads to conversations to actual closings, I'm not sure I know what that is, but it can't be that high. I can't imagine that people are going from leads to close at 50% of the time, and so I just have to tell myself, it's part of the journey, and the more you have these leads, the more you can fine-tune your approach, and the more you can keep moving forward. So overall, encouraged, very excited to start the new opportunity next week, but have to take care of some prior commitments before I do that, because obviously I don't want to let anyone down. I want to make sure everyone's happy. So that's the rest of the day for me. I want to thank you again for keeping up with these videos. I always encourage you to leave comments, questions below. Feel free to drop me a line with anything. I do my best to reply. But I hope on my end that you're doing great with your goals. You're making progress. Wish you a great end of the day and of the week. And I will see you tomorrow for day 48. All right. Talk to you soon.